Hello guys, my name is Arkan and I rebuild transfer cases here in Central Florida, Tampa and Orlando area for local shops and local BMW owners. Also you can see my eBay listings every once in a while if I have any overstock transfer case in hand. You can also reach out to me directly for the best prices on rebuild transfer cases, BMW actually transfer cases. I hope you enjoyed the video that I'm gonna make about E83 transfer case today. I see most of you guys confused about that part because not so much information online information available for this, and it's one of the most fragile part on this BMWs actually, and they would cost a lot. They would be expensive to repair. If shops replace them when they not broken actually. Sometimes it happens. I see people get their transfer cases replaced and they bring it to me saying that this is broken, you can have the core, but I see it's actually good. It was not bad. Sometimes there's a different problem, but shops replace the transfer cases and it's going to be very expensive mistake for the customers. Actually, shops doesn't really care sometimes. I mean, there are really actually good shops out there, but I have been promising about this video for a while now for BMW X3 Owners Club on Facebook group, but I finally got a chance. Plus, I'm not a great person in front of the camera. Be easy on me if I don't sound like a pro YouTuber, because I am not one anyway. I will talk about symptoms of a bad transfer case and possible issues with them, and some possible repairs. That way it helps you guys to understand the issues better and not replace something that is not needed. Okay, and with this guys, symptom number one is, you know, of course, that three lights everybody's talking about: four-wheel drive, ABS, and the brake light. That probably the scariest lights you guys want to see it on. And there are actually too many reasons for those three lights to come on, but I'm going to talk about the transfer case related side of that problems. The first scenario: you start the car and none of the lights are on, like talking about the four-wheel drive, ABS and brake lights. They're not on when you start the car, and when you put in a gear and start rolling the car in like 100 feet or 50 feet, whatever, you hear a beep and all this three light comes on. That actually probably indicates something internal, like a internal damage with the transfer case, or either you have a bad motor, actuator motor, or that the gear on the motor is bad actually. You know, some of the guys talking about that gear, that $5 gear, it fixes sometimes, but I see most of the times you have a different problem inside the transfer case, because it works for a while and then you're gonna see the problem again soon. I mean, like, it doesn't have to come back, but sometimes, like I said, that gear fixes the problem, but sometimes there's actually like internal damage in the transfer case, and that gear fixes for a while and then all of a sudden everything comes back on later. And the second scenario is as soon as you start your car on, all these lights comes on, like ABS, four-wheel drive, and brake light, of course. They come on as soon as you start the car, and that indicates an electrical issue with the car, or with that system actually. To be clear, either your transfer case fuse is bad, or it was removed before to like eliminate the four-wheel drive. I believe it was fuse 26. I cannot verify right now, but I will look up later. If I was wrong, I'm gonna put a note down here on the video. Either the fuse, like I said, I'm sorry, but either the fuse or either your transfer case control unit is bad. I've seen that was bad before. People came to me saying like, oh, my transfer case is bad because all the lights were bad, and when you plug your computer in, it says transfer case malfunction, but it wasn't the case. Actually, your transfer case control unit might be bad that time, which is actually located under your floor mat inside your trunk between your there's a little compartment over there next to the battery compartment. Between battery compartment and on your back seat, there's a little compartment down there. It's a small electrical box. All right, symptom number 2, guys. The problem 2 is it feels like your car is locking when you're making tight turns in a slow speed. That actually indicates that your car is stuck in 4-wheel drive, and it is trying to, like, all of your 4 wheels trying to turn at the same speed because you are in 4-wheel drive. And when you're making turns, of course, some of the wheels supposed to turn slower, and some of them supposed to turn faster. So your car feels like it's locking. It wants to go, but it cannot go. So in that case, that means you have a transfer case that is stuck in 4-wheel drive. And I want to actually show you on the transfer case how actually it operates and how it engages the 4-wheel drive and how it disengages. Okay, there's 2 components to make the 4-wheel drive come on. Actually, the first one is obviously the motor. I want to talk about the motor a little bit right now. I already wired the motor to my little 12-volt battery jumper here. So the motor only spins one way. Okay, it doesn't spin back with its power from the car. So what happens is, let me show you. Is it close enough? Okay. When you power it on, it only turns that way, and when you don't have power, so it doesn't spin. That means when your transfer case control unit tells motor to bring the 4-wheel drive on, it turns it, and this thing turns this guy right here. It is spring loaded, so and also one way to tell if your transfer case is good or not, try to turn it by hand. If you can do it, then it is bad. It's not. It's supposed to be pretty hard. You should be able to turn it with like something like this. Look, when you turn it, it's supposed to hit back, okay, because it has springs in it. When your transfer case control unit tells the motor to engage the 4-wheel drive, it turns one way, and whenever you want to disengage it, it just stops the power. So in that case, your transfer case is supposed to push this gear back to its the starting position. So if you are stuck in 4-wheel drive, either your motor is bad, that it's the transfer case cannot push it back to starting position, or you have a problem, internal problem in the transfer case. Maybe the leaf springs, they're not strong enough anymore that it cannot push the motor back. So you might have bad brushes, you might have bad bearings on it, or like bad gears maybe. I don't know. The gear is not really, doesn't keep you yeah, the bad gear doesn't really keep you in 4-wheel drive though. Yeah, either you have a bad motor, you can replace the motor. I mean, when you want to replace the motor, you're gonna have to open it up anyway, right? So just check this out. If you have any tension on this gear right here, it's supposed to have a tension that pushing this guy back, the train. Okay, one last thing I wanted to add on that part, the symptom number 2, about explaining the operation of the motor, is how you guys wire the motor to test it if it's working or not. So let's say that your motor is in this position, right? This is the plug. So the plug goes like this. Okay, and the plugs have pin numbers on them. Excuse me. And then plug has pin numbers on them. So what you're gonna wire is pin number 8 is going to be your ground or negative, whatever you call, and then pin number 1 is your red battery terminal, 12-volt positive terminal. So if you go like this, left bottom will be ground, and right top will be your positive pin. So that's how you can test your motor too. And then symptom number 3. Let's say you're in stopping position, right? You're at like a red light or stop sign or something like this, and you want to take off quick. You want to take make a fast takeoff, and you want to hit the gas pedal all the way down to floor, and you hear clanking noises for like 4 or 5 times, like 2 or 3 times, whatever, depends on how bad it is. You hit the gas pedal all the way down to floor, and you say pump, 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 and the car goes. That all actually indicates a problem inside your transfer case, which means actually stretched out chain that is skipping your gears actually for a couple times, and it's engaging the gears. Symptom number 4. Symptom of bad or going to have a bad transfer case is oil leaks from transfer case. There's not actually so much area that can leak oil from, but there's 2 places that I see actually leaking most. One of them is your front shaft, where your front shaft connects. There's seal around this output shaft, so it can leak from there. And also there's 2 drain plugs or fill plug, whatever you call. It can leak from there if the washer is bad. Also, if it was rebuilt by somebody that doesn't know what they're doing, sometimes they don't do RTV thing right around the whole case that holds the case together, and it leaks. I seen one transfer case actually that was rebuilt not too long ago, and it was completely bad because it had a oil leak from RTVs that they used, and the whole transfer case was completely shot. Because no matter what you do, guys, fix that oil leak, because it's gonna screw you up. That transfer case will be like complete garbage if you run it without any oil. And what I was gonna say, yeah, because when it's on the oil leak, you can't fix it before you drop the transfer case. Like, you can just drop your front shaft and replace this without opening your transfer case. You can also replace your drain plugs or washers around them. You can't really do so much on the RTVs, but you can actually maybe like drain the oil and clean out that area, make a good patch on that, because there's really not any pressurized oil inside this transfer case. Symptom number 5, from parking position. You put in gear, mostly the reverse actually, and the car doesn't want to move. Again, it feels like it's in gear, but something holding it, like your handbrake is applied, or like you have a bad differential that is locking the car, doesn't let it move. So in this case, you most likely have a bad transfer case shaft bearings that locking your shaft, not letting the shaft turn so your car can move. This is usually a result of not having oil inside the transfer case, or having a bad oil leak that, you know, you run out of oil. And yeah, so, or either just having a bad bearings, that the cheap bearings that was used before and they got bad and they're locking the drive shaft. So that also your transfer case needs to be rebuilt. In this case, you cannot just get away with doing something with the little gears on that too. And symptom number 6. Symptom number 6. Whatever. It's hot, guys. It's real hot here in Florida, so I'm just sweating. I'm sorry about if I don't look good on anything, whatever. Symptom number 6 is also about bearings, guys. If you have loud grinding noise or vibrating that coming from transfer case, you might have also bad bearings actually. Unfortunately, that your transfer case needs to be rebuilt in that case too. Also remember, guys, if you have a vibration on the car when you drive, you have a bad vibration, transfer case is usually the last thing that will make that vibration. There's actually so many reasons, like guibo, the drive shaft carrier bearing, or like axles actually. make very bad the grinding and the vibration. Also, I've seen lately one of the front bearing, actually I had a wheel bearing bad. It made a very bad vibration when I was driving. It was making really bad vibration, also grinding noise too. So there's too many things that can make vibration under that car. Lately, a couple people came to me saying, oh, they have a bad transfer case, they need their transfer case replaced because somebody told them they do, but actually I found out their transfer case was fine. And sometimes the mechanics don't know about those xDrives so much, and they just blame on the transfer case, whatever the problem they cannot solve. They just say, oh, your transfer case is bad, and like a $3,000 job. And most of the people that, you know, they don't want to do it because, you know, they don't want to do like $3,000 at the shop, and they try to get away cheap with somewhere else, and then, you know, someone else like me, I can find out the transfer case fine actually. Okay guys, I hope you like this video. There's actually so much to talk about transfer case. If you have any questions, just let me know. But please just don't tell me, hey Arkan, I was driving my car down the road, I have my engine light came on, why? Don't ask me questions like that. Please just like get your car scanned first. If you have any warning light, get your car scanned first, and then ask me you know, the symptoms and the cause that you have it. All right, thank you so much guys, take care.